Ladies and gentlemen, folks worldwide, welcome back to another exciting episode of Fight for Truth or Die for a Lie News Network. Before I get started, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to the Most High. The topic of the day is the hypocrisy of this nation. Let me repeat that. The hypocrisy of this nation is so shameless, but they're not ashamed. And what I mean by the hypocrisy of this nation, I'm gonna start off by saying that this is all a game. If you didn't know, now you know. This is all a game. It's a chess game. And we're the ones who the game is being ran on. It's like we look around and we see politicians, police, presidents, know that these people have joined positions of power to not be one of us anymore. So it's like regular folk have joined the gang in a sense, because when they join those positions of power, they're not subject to prosecution like you or I, you or me. They're not subject to prosecution unless they really messed up. It's like with the politicians, it's like we see them at least once in our natural lives. We see them once in person. And that usually is when they're riding through our neighborhoods trying to garner our support for their cause. And they will feed us lies, false promises of change, lowered taxes, more jobs, all to get our energy. But it's like as soon as they're elected to their seat, they slowly start to change. For once, I noticed a physical change with all politicians. It's like they start off maybe gray. They start off with their hair being fully black, or it might be a little salt, within the pepper. But after a while, their hair, all of them, they slowly start to gray all over. Totally gray. I won't speak of the politician that I'm speaking about because, fear for my life. Even though I'm not really scared of them, it's that I'm trying to do this in order. If you have common sense and you can read in between lines, you know who I'm talking about just by looking around. It's like they come around, these politicians, they come around, they kiss our babies, they feed us lies. But let's say if you get pulled over by police, that's one of my favorites, as far as this hypocrisy goes. The hypocrisy is so deep with them. It's like, let's say you get pulled over on a quote unquote routine traffic stop. And the first thing that the officer do when he approaches your car, they automatically say the same thing that they always say to everyone else. They might say something about speeding or running a stop sign. But my particular favorite is, I smell weed. Yeah, they always say, I smell weed when they run up on minorities' vehicles. Particularly black folk. They always run up on us saying the same thing. I smell weed. Even though it's like, for some folks, they might smoke Black and Milds, cigarettes. And I've been around Black and Mild and cigarettes, and they smell nothing like marijuana. Nothing like it. But they can use that lie as probable cause, depending on how you answer. And some folks, they're nervous when they see a man with a badge and a gun. So some folks would lie. or, will come off as being nervous. And it's for good reason, because for one, this person has the quote unquote legal right to kidnap you if he suspect you of any crime or can prove that you committed a crime. And the thing is, they really cannot prove that you committed a crime. It's like they go fishing. But let's turn the tables and say, what if you lied to them and gave them, wrong information? And they prove that you gave them the wrong information. It's like they can prosecute you for lying to them, but the police has no fear of any wrongdoing or, being in trouble at all if they lie to you. And they can lie to you about anything. Anything. They have the power to lie to us, to get us caught up in their system, while they lie to us without a conscience. But like I say before, they have joined positions of power where they're not worried about prosecution. It's like the folks that hired them, they gave them, I would say, immunity. These folks, it's like the police should be held to a higher standard. It's like with all the folks they seem prosecuted, it's like if you ever get prosecuted knowing what you know, you should be held in general population and you should get regular time after they prove that you're guilty. It's like once they prove that some polices are guilty of crimes, they still protect them. And that's the hypocrisy too. Like, why would you protect them? They prove that they cannot follow laws. But they're just my thoughts. And another thing is the hypocrisy of this nation. Excuse me. The hypocrisy of this nation is, it's like, let's say a couple who is not ready to be parents. This might be kind of controversial, but let's say they don't want the baby no more and they do it on their own as far as terminating the pregnancy. Don't you know they will be prosecuted for terminating a pregnancy without doing it the legal way? But they can go to a clinic that is being government funded and the government can kill your baby. But you can't do it on your own. You have to go to the government to get them to do it for you. The hypocrisy. It's like you can't do nothing on your own. You need the government to tell you that it's okay. I mean, I don't agree with murder of any kind. That's why I'm saying, like, we can't even decide for ourselves what's right for ourselves. We have to get the government's permission. And it's sad because a lot of folk, they don't know no better. They don't know that they're in a matrix. And that it's a game being played on them because they're not in a position of power. They're not a politician, a mayor, a police chief. They don't have any rank of power. But it's more of us than it is of them. And they know that. And they also know that if it's more of us, as far as the have-nots, they have not. They have no one fighting for them, in power. They don't have no financial power. So basically saying that us regular folk, don't worry about them, incarcerate them because they don't have no backup. of any kind to fight for them, to speak for them, to say this is wrong. And that's why this stuff is always happening. They want to talk about the crimes in the city. Your government makes these crimes happen through your mayors, your police chiefs. Don't think that these folks do not know exactly who the crime lords is. The gang leaders, they meet with these folks every once in a while to keep crime going in our neighborhoods, so the mayors and the police chiefs can look like heroes to us. It's like, even though we have seen them once before, it's like when they was riding around in our neighborhoods, selling us false dreams, hopes of change. But we don't see them after that. And it's like, even though we're the ones that help them get to their position of power, just to go and see them again, you would need an appointment, because these folks is quote unquote so important and busy. They're not busy doing nothing but keeping the crime going in our neighborhoods. And you wonder why they always gray so fast. It's because they know something that we don't know. They have to keep the crime going to keep jobs going. Far as, if it wasn't no crime, would we need police? No, we wouldn't. It's like, if it wasn't homelessness, would we need the fire department? Because let's be real, the homeless folk are the ones that starting these fires. And they're starting the fires because they're trying to keep warm, because they're homeless. And the temperatures out excuse me. The temperatures outside are freezing. These folks are trying to keep warm. Like, in the city where I'm from, they're not even opening they're not even opening up the shelters anymore, or the places that they once opened up to keep homeless from being cold. They're not doing that anymore. It's like, screw the homeless. I mean, but these are just my thoughts about the hypocrisy of this nation, of where you can't kill your kid on your own, but bring your kid to us, we'll kill him for you, and you won't have nothing to worry about. I mean, they're just, sometimes we have to laugh to keep from crying. Because I'm going to leave y'all with this. You have the power of free will, you as humans. And when the police come around to lie to you, then, it's like they're justified in their lying. Understand, when they lie to you and they put handcuffs on you, they are legally kidnapping you, taking you beyond your free will, because I'm pretty sure you don't want to go to jail. Just like don't no one want to go to jail. But these jails have to be filled at a certain capacity at all times, because our governor has made deals to keep these jails filled. They might look like they're for us, the regular folk, the working folk. These folks are for themselves and for their own families. That's why they take these jobs, even though they might ride around and lie to us and tell us they're fighting for us. But it's like, once they get in, the powers that be that are really in power, they tell them that you can easily be replaced for far as your governors, your mayors, your city councilmen, your police chiefs. All of them can easily be replaced by the runner-up.